Okay, let's go.
And on that, I think a very good example, and I think it's also pertinent to the fact that we're speaking directly today to potential young people, is that we had a situation where a couple, not married, which is also fine, you can buy property if you're not married, and they put in all their forms. The young gentleman had omitted to disclose one or two things, which came out in the paperwork. And at that point, they realized, oh my gosh, we actually can't afford this property. So the solution there was to pull in a parent. Yes. And you advised and guided and assisted, and that was quite a challenging one. But they are very happy in their new home today. so it worked out. But I think people get scared. It becomes very overwhelming. But if you can elaborate a bit on that, you can use that as a specific example, or I'm sure you've had more similar.
It's something that I've sort of kept up my sleeve all these years. No, don't worry. Just make sure you come to me.
Away all the
Just make sure you come to me for a mortgage loan. So again, with this National Credit Act, it says that you've got to afford the mortgage loan in your own capacity. So no longer can your parents stand as surety. You can't have a brother or a sibling or a grandma like we used to do years ago. You just can't do that anymore. So for me to work around that is I give the parents, if they agree, if the parents prepared to stand surety, they have more hold, or they've got more control, that's the word. They've got more control over what is happening to that mortgage loan. So what we do is we speak to the parents, we explain what we're doing, and on the title deed, you can register a lesser percentage ownership. So I normally speak to the parents that's prepared to do suretyship, and we register 1% ownership in their name. And in that way, I can actually pull in the parent and all their financials, all their affordability, not just 1% that they are standing in as ownership. So at the banks, there's a specific wording where it's called you are jointly and severally liable. So the parents are as liable as the children if one of them default. Doesn't mean they've got 1% that they're now not liable if the kids default. They are fully liable. But the beauty of the 1% is as soon as I'm calling now the children, the kids, the applicants are in a financial position to take over 100% of the ownership, it means on paper, they only have to buy back 1% of the property value, future value. So now remember, and again, this is a lot of information if you are first-time home buyers, and hopefully we've got some parents listening. But parents normally that's prepared to do this have got their own home. Yeah. So as soon as you buy a second home or have ownership in a second home, there's capital gains tax when you sell. But if you only sell 1% and the value of 1%, there's almost no capital gains. There's almost no transfer duties. So your biggest cost is actually just a new bond registration and the little bit of charge the transferring attorney will charge for that 1%. And it's normally linked to the value of that 1%. Yeah. So it's a beautiful way to get around it.
Absolutely.
Well, the secret's out.
Sorry about that, Joanita.
And they all heard it. So, I don't know. If you guys are finding this interesting, give us a thumbs up, like our stream, so we know that we're on the right track with what the information we're giving you. It all helps. So, we're really glad that we could do this. I think if you do like it, let us know so that we know we're on the right track and we can do more of these events to keep you up to date, because it's a big thing. It's a big deal. It's one of the emotional things you can do. One of the 5 most emotional things you can do. Oh, death, divorce, departure. So it's in one of those brackets, and it is a very stressful thing. So if you don't do it correctly, and as Joanita says, if you're going to go and put an offer in, you've got limited time, especially in this market that we've got at the moment. If you're not quick, you have got 3 or 4 other backup offers just lined up there waiting for that home. And
Yeah.
so, supporting what Joanita says, the best thing you can do is get pre-approved before we even start looking. So you know exactly what you qualify for. And then when you go looking, you've been pre-qualified, you know what you've got such bargaining power with the seller and negotiating a good price, what you know you can afford. So that's just super, super important. And then Joanita has already done your pre-approval. She's got all the documents. So to get a final bond grant, and that's literally, I've seen it with her, it's like 2-3 days tops.
Oh, it
She's
can be
done
done faster.
Yeah.
I've seen it done faster.
Yeah,
There's rumors that she's done it quicker than that.
She's got a fantastic team.
I've actually done it in about 4
You haven't done one for me in 4 hours yet. I want to.
And I think, sorry, just on sort of all of this with the young people and my advice to them, and it's always in hindsight, I wish I'd known this when I was 20 something. I'll never forget my mom saying, you know what, there's this amazing apartment, it's 19,000 Rand. You started working, buy it. And I was like, oh my gosh, you must be crazy. I want to go travel and I'm still busy partying and I want to do this. I don't want to be tied down to a property. I tell you that I rue those words. But anyway, so I think my advice is just, you don't have to live in that place. You can take the emotion out of it. And where Kaz is very good, she'll always say, take the emotion, put it aside and look at the numbers. Look at those numbers. And if you can afford R1 million, go and find a property for R1 million. Get into the market.
Yeah, true.
Pop a tenant in. There's good and bad tenants, but there are agents and people out there that can help you, that can support you, that can make sure we tick and cover as many of the boxes to try and prevent the scary stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying it's all a bed of roses, but most of the time you're actually going to be okay.
Yes.
Pop a tenant in, write it out, buy a boyfriend, buy a property with your best friend. It's not that bad.
Yes.
Because there are things in the background that can be done to help you when it goes wrong.